Hi guys, this is Crossy. Welcome to my channel on Twitch TV and on YouTube, however you're watching this one. And you'll notice this is the first game that I've covered that hasn't got my removing the rust tag on it. I must be feeling pretty confident then, and I'm not going to try and make excuses for being bad anymore. I've done enough games that I just need to leave that alone and crack on as best we can. So I'm going to start picking through some of the big games that took place in the ESEA Season 13 LAN finals when none other than a European team went and smashed through and won the whole thing. Going to kick things off with the upper bracket finals, and we've got that age-old battle between Team VeryGames and Ninjas in Pyjamas taking place here. It's a best of three, and the first map is going to be Nuke. We will definitely see Mirage. Will it go to a third map? Who knows? We will have to find out. So Nuke's the first game up. Going to be looking forward to this one, and I'm going to bring you the action live. And as for the second map and possibly the third, those will be appearing on both channels very soon. So thanks for sticking with me, and let's get this underway. So I've got the game ready to go here. Just to give you a heads up, for NIP, they've decided to make things really difficult and they've put their real names in. So a quick heads up from top to bottom. R. Landstrom is Exist. C. Allison is Get Right. P. Lindberg is Forest. A. Freiberg is Freiberg, the only obvious one in there. And R. Johansson is Fifth Laren. For VG, they've gone for their normal names. We've got Scream, MBK, Existence, Smiths, and Kenny S. NIP starting off on the arguably tougher T-sided. Arguably tougher T-side, I should say. Although things have started to balance out with the way that the back stairs are now at the front when you try and make your way outside. So that push down there is much easier than it used to be. Fairly slow build up then, around about a minute left to go on the clock. And we now have NIP looking like they're going to make some kind of commitment into ramp room. Existence picks up the opening frag for VeryGames. Well, it looks like NIP have got the chance to get themselves down that ramp. Forest in there with one frag on Smith. Kenny S firing straight back. Taking down Forest. MBK in there with a huge little headshot, making the most of the CT starter pistol. A lot of things have been said about that compared to the Glock, which is pretty damn powerful, but it hasn't worked out for the terrorists, and they're cut down. So first round goes to Team VeryGames, and VG will be hoping they can finally grab that victory against Ninjas in Pyjamas, who for the last 8 or 9 months have been the dominant force in CSGO. They did lose in the end in the Ukraine to Virtus Pro, who is a team that many thought might be the guys that would topple NIP if VeryGames didn't manage to do it, but still huge performances coming in from NIP so far, earning themselves a spot in this upper bracket final. On board Forest, trying to spam with the Glock through into Nest. It is good, the Glock, but it's not that good. And Kenny S decides he's not going to try and challenge that one too much, and drops back after being taken down to just under half HP. Smith's night work pops out the window and manages to grab Forest. Smith has got second, and MBK going with the almighty Bison, making light work of Forest on the outside, and that's a second kill for him as well, taking down Fifth Laren. Get Right, last man alive. He's got Nova coming in behind, but Kenny S is not going to wait for that. Gets his first frag of the round, and that is 2-0 in favour of VeryGames. You expect they're going to piggyback through and get the third one here as well after grabbing the pistol. But stranger things have happened. I will bring you as much of the overview as I can, but since it's two sites stacked on top of each other, there's not a whole lot you can really see with this. Just going to jump on board with Fifth Laren, who's only got a Galil in hand, but he's going to try and work outside. Might well see him getting hold of his favoured AWP at some point a little later on in the game. No such joy for him though. Very disciplined performance from VG outside. Kenny S with the AWP is dropping back and just underneath Crows with that. Scream and Kenny S picking up a frag apiece there, taking down 2 players for NIP. Get Right trying to fire back and Freiburg doing exactly the same thing. "3v3 then. VeryGames looking to pick up that 3rd round after the pistol, and they are tagging down the NIP players. NBK does manage to grab Freiburg, and he's got a 2nd on Get Right. And make that a 3rd, and Forrest goes down as well. So NBK racking up the frags early doors. He's got 7 in those opening 3 rounds. Gun's been switched around for VeryGames. They did lose quite a few weapons during that exchange. Cash isn't all that great, so they're not going to want to drop this first buy if they can. Bit of action. Existence manages to get Freiburg, and Kenny S takes down Lansdale play. A couple of EG frags trading in there as well. So after that, really quickly, it comes down to Get Right, last man alive. Get on board with him, see what he can make happen. Facing that position, he has got a chance, but a good crossfire from Existence and NBK, and that's the first buy versus buy round going to Team VeryGames. This will be interesting. If they can take this first map, which is pretty much crucial, then they could go on and get their first scalp of NIP potentially. Let's see what tricks the Swedes have got up their sleeve. Can they start turning this momentum around? Can they stop NBK, who's already dropped 9 frags? Making no mistake, as he's pretty much been getting those on rotates. Going to see an outside strat then. Smokes are in. Interesting flash from Exist. Probably caught more of his teammates than it did opponents. Those 3 players have made their way unchallenged down to back steps. Flash is going in. Bit of action on the steps, but NBK is more than a match as Freiburg goes down. NBK's got 2, make that 3. He's going huge so far, NBK. Finally cut down, but he's done the job. He's brought it to a 2v2. It's all down the Scream and Kenny S. Can they hold this together? Forrest pops up onto the upper site, going to get the plant. Got Get Right in there for company. Probably the 2 standout players for NIP in terms of frags. And 2 of the greatest controllers of weapons in CSGO worldwide. I would call these 2 number 1 and 2 in that regard. And they're going to need every ounce of that. Maybe not. Kenny S goes down straight away. Forrest mops up. And that's first round on the board for Ninjas in Pyjamas. NBK kind of running the show here so far. He's got plenty of dollar as well, so that is going to help things no end if NIP start to get on a little bit of a run here. Notice Screen currently rooted to the bottom of the scoreboard. The hugely talented French player. So much potential in him. Still very young and still developing. But he has had a really good tournament as NBK's got himself up onto the rafters and takes down Freiburg straight away. He's got Exist just underneath him trying to do a bit of damage, and he has done. NBK's been tagged down to 34 HP. Kenny S with his AWP going to try and help out his buddy and stop any action on the outside. Exist down to 14 HP there already. He's deciding he's going to fall back and doesn't want any piece of the outside action. MBK though, he's switched things up, and there's Get Right going down. Numbers favour VeryGames, and they're going to try and take a 5-1 here if they can. Won't be too bad to score at all if they can manage it. Screen got some action coming in the ramp. Can he get something to come off here? He's got one. Smith's backing up. And Kenny S mops up the final bit of action in the ramp room. So 5-1 in favour of VeryGames. Nuke's still arguably a CT-sided map, although not as much as you might expect in the previous incarnations of Counter-Strike. So things still going as you would expect them to here. No real surprises, and it's up to the Swedes to try and make something happen. Try and turn this around. Going for a hard eco push outside. Going to try and drop back stairs and get a plant, I would imagine. Fifth gets tagged down to low HP, and Kenny S makes light work of Exist with AWP in hand. MBK, who else would it be? Taking down two. That's the two standout players. That's Get Right and Forest, both going down. Both of those two have earned themselves a place in the All-Star game for Europe, may I just point out. All down to Fifth Laren, who was on 18 HP from the earlier exchange outside. Cut down, and that takes it to 6-1. Dominant performance from VeryGames then, and is all coming from their number one guy. That is MBK, who after 7 rounds of Counter-Strike has already got himself 16 frags. That is mental. You don't see too many 30 bombs in a half anymore and go. We could be seeing one here though. Chance to go absolutely huge. And with a lot of talent behind him as well, you wouldn't put it past the rest of VeryGames to start stepping things up a little bit later on in this game as well. And they'll be really trying to close this out if they can. Just got to make sure that NIP don't get any momentum going, because they have a lot of confidence from the last 9 months in this game. Kenny S and Existence are helping out with that one as they take down Freiburg and Get Right straight off the bat. Trying to push through Squeaky through the smoke. No such luck. VeryGames to experience. Saw that coming a mile off, and Scream's got 2. Nice crisp AK headshots, both of those. That's how you hold down ramp. And it's all down to a 5v1. What's Fifth Laren got in the tank? He's seen one and gets one, so that's Smith's going down. Nothing he can do here other than try and get as many frags as he can, and that's MBK. Wouldn't have expected him to fall down there, but he does. Manages to get the tag, but not the frag on Fifth Laren. Timer ticks down, and oh, Kenny S, that is huge. And he's just made sure that Fifth Laren ain't going to be keeping hold of that AK. 7-1 for VeryGames. Really nice stuff here so far. And for Ninjas in Pyjamas, I'm trying to work out where they're going to get their chance to get in and hold the site. And they had that one chance well, they didn't actually win the round where it was a 2v2. But aside from that, they've been really up against it. No guns available either. They're stuck on another eco. Go try and make something happen outside. Got Kenny S and his AWP for company, and Kenny S gets one. Smith's backing up from the window, taking down Exist there. 5v3. Make that 5v2. Existence gets Freiburg, mows him down. And for MBK, he's done nothing but bolster his already impressive list of frags with one more. And that is 8-1 on the board. Bit of an eco bash there for VeryGames, nothing too complicated. And I almost would have been happier to see NIP go for a fast push somewhere, to be honest, on that eco. Get the Glocks out. Just try and barrel in somewhere en masse where they're only going to have 2, maybe 3 players they've got to deal with. At least get a plant, and then from that point, if they can get a couple of guns, they might be able to hold the whole thing out. Going with guns this time though, Get Right taken down to exactly 50 HP as they try and work something on the outside area. MBK planting himself nicely in the vents as Smith grabs Freiburg's Scream. Manages to blind himself with that one. But no problems anyway. They'll be able to get away with that one. So they weren't under any pressure. But I'll tell you who is piling on the pressure. That's MBK. He's got another couple of frags. Make that 3 for the round again. This is a masterclass from MBK. I'm tempted to get on board and follow him, to be honest. But plenty of other action taking place here as well. And while MBK is dropping frags in bunches, he has got his teammates chipping in with those kills here and there as well, just to help out. And what a performance this has been from VeryGames. What confidence booster this will be if they can win this first map in the upper bracket finals of the ESEA LAN. Be their first chance to defeat NIP if they get there. And Scream is in there with a 3-man. Make that 4. Is he going to try and grab the 5th here? He's got the chance, but MBK decides to steal that one off him instead. Unlucky, but again, Scream just gets a chance to bash NIP quite comfortably there. And it wasn't even an eco, because that's what's coming up now. Oh no, they're going for a scrub by. Galil's all round. NIP, if they lose this one, they are screwed for money. As for VeryGames, well, they don't really have that problem since they're all, apart from one, sitting close to 16k. Seeing some action into the upper site. Existence gets one straight away. Fifth Laren trying to fire back. MBK gets one. Frags being traded in the site. And straight there is Forest with a 3-man, and they are going to get the plant. Scream with it all to do. 1v3. And double nade into the nest is all it takes to get rid of Scream in the end. Now, that's only NIP's second round on the board, but that is so much better from them. They've gone hard into a site, split through Hut and through Squeaky, with smokes and with flashes. Perfect. And from that point, I missed most of it because I was flashed on my screen, but during that time they've gone in and they have cleaned up and they have brought it to a 3v1. So I don't know why they haven't done that more often. They've been a little too hesitant at times. Tried to work picks and haven't had any joy. Got an aggressive push through, and after getting tagged a couple of times, Forest and Exist do manage to get frags, and here we go now. Get Right and Forest racking up a couple of kills. Existence, last man alive, what can he do? They've already picked him in the vents by the looks of it, and he pops straight up top, tries to get a new angle, only to run into Fifth Laren, who is staring down the barrel of his gun, ready to unleash the frag. So 2 rounds on the bounce here for NIP. Finances still aren't a major problem for VeryGames, but they're going to be looking to really turn the screw here and Now, if they don't go and win at least another round or two, then no, NIP will be pretty happy with a 10-5, to be honest. Still debatably a CT-sided map. And Freiburg again gets the opening pick. Existence, nice work though. Drops on top of the vent and then sprays down to manage to get Forest in the end. Kenny S firing in with his AWP. Fifth Laren, who's been fairly quiet, manages to jump in and get a frag on Existence round about back vents. Scream still holding firm in the ramp. I'm sure he would love to be going on a bit of a push if it was all down to him. But chooses not to. One VeryGames player was picked off. And Kenny S in the nest is tagged down to very low HP. That nade once again coming in from Fifth Laren. Picked a couple of nest nades on tag players already. Scream cut down in lobby. 10-4. A little bit of a look at the cash situation for VeryGames. Looks like they'll be able to cobble together a fairly decent looking buy here. Smith's going for the Pyjamas, but aside from that, we've got an AWP and 3 M4s. 3 rounds on the spin going to the Swedes. Going to be trying their best to pick up a round here if they can. Take it at 10-5. And after the way this first half started out for them, I think they will not be able to complain at all about that. Just didn't seem to have an answer for the French team and for MBK's dominance. And really it was just down to them playing too passive. It's given MBK the chance just to sprint around the map and cut them down. And Smiths make great use of that Pyjamas. It was an economy buy really. Cash a little bit tight, but he's already picked up a 3-man cutting down players left, right and centre in the lobby. MBK fired in with one of his own as well, and we are left with just Fifth Laren. What can he do? Playing it slow, playing it quiet. Going to pop up Nest and could get himself in a bit of trouble here, but he doesn't in the spray down. He comes out on top against MBK. And Fifth Laren just had that extra second when MBK was facing away. He did manage to spin around and start cracking off some shots, but wasn't enough. Pushing through, going to try and grab that bomb, but he's caught before he gets the chance by Smiths. And 11-4 go in favour of Team VeryGames. And a great performance from the French team. I know I say that like I'm surprised, but when they come up against Ninjas in Pyjamas, they have not managed to do very much at all. Well, actually, I lie. I give them a disservice there because they have made it challenging. They've made it close on more than one occasion, but just haven't come through and managed to do the job on LAN. Also can't get away from the talk that Shoxy, who is now teamless, might be jumping in. Whose place is he going to take? Of course, that could be all rumours. Could he bury the hatchet after his previous sort of disagreements with the team? Who knows? Just waiting for everyone to ready up here, and then we will be live. And here we go, then we do have live coming up. for VeryGames, well, I know it sounds obvious, but if they can pick themselves up this pistol round, they give themselves a great chance to win the next two as well. And from that point, they are one singular round away from picking up a draw. All to play for here. We saw VeryGames lock things down nicely with an epic bit of play from MBK. Can the Swedes repeat the same fate? Can they lock it down? Existence trying to spam through against Get Right, but they both sort of trade a bit of HP. Both down to about half. Kenny S does manage to get one through that squeaky door, and that's Freiburg. Exist gets flashed out of the hut. Might have been a chance to push the hut there if they went for it, then they might well have had the chance to break into the site, but instead Exist gets a chance to recover and get himself into a more comfortable position. The LAP can't with the first frag. Exist does get one as there is a wholesale push out of the hut, but that's all he gets. Numbers do favour VeryGames, and they're going to want to try and get... they can't plant the bomb. They do now. They're trying to hold this in the upper area. Kenny S mopped up very comfortably by Fifth Laren, who's got two. Fifth Laren's got three. And Forrest goes in, nicks a defuse. Nice work from Fifth Laren, then steps in from main. And just mops up. VeryGames did all the work there. They got numbers in their favour. They got the plant. They spread out through the site. And then they let one player just go and storm in and catch all three of them. Maybe they need a bit of crossfire so they could have dealt with that one. Or who knows. But golden opportunity. They get the first round going exactly like they would have wanted it, pretty much. Aside from sprinting around and fragging all of them and not dying. But... against the top team in Europe and possibly one of the top teams in the world if they come through and win this whole tournament. You're not going to get opportunities like that. Exist with a three-man already. With a bit of help from Freiburg and Get Right to mop it up there. Nice little eco bash from NIP. So what have VeryGames got in their locker here then? MBK standout player. Showing great balance on top of yellow. No chance for a pick for him out there yet though. Smith's trying to get a pick on the ramp area. Fifth Laren spamming through the smoke. No tags from either team in ramp. Exist playing very in your face. If there is a hot push, he's not going to be messing around with that one. And that does peak the angle, does manage to crack off a couple of shots. I think he might have caught MBK with one of those. Delayed upper strat coming in here. Flash is coming in. We saw this strat work really well for NIP. It did manage to get them one of their few rounds. But I don't think it's worked quite so well for VeryGames. Up against it 3v2. Existence launches the bomb onto site. Give the 100 HP of Screen the chance to get that plant in. NIP just playing it quite slow. Only left about 10 seconds on the clock before that plant went down. Nice work from Existence as he grabs Fifth Flower and as he steps into the nest. Scream goes down though, that's Get Right coming in, and Existence is mopped up very comfortably by Forest in the end. Nice work by NIP. Perfect little split between Forest and Get Right as one of them pops in nest, the other pops in main. Perfectly timed, and between two of them they managed to track down where the final player Existence was hiding and make that frag. So 11-7 then, we're into the first buy versus buy. Let's see what we've got coming. We're seeing aggressive push into upper. Smith gets one. Freiburg with one. Frag's being traded in the site. 2v2, but just about, as MBK left down on 3 HP and NIP managed to get the rotate in from Nest there. Bomb planted lower by MBK. So $800 is going to be vital. And not a whole lot he can do with 3 HP and a pistol. So that is going to be 11-8. NIP closing the gap. Get Right has grabbed himself his infamous auto sniper, and we have seen him come up absolutely huge with that weapon. It's expensive, but if you can make it work for you, you got 2-hit kill like the Scout, very little recoil, and you can just be cracking those bullets off left, right and centre without too much hassle. So if you can make it work for you, then sometimes it is a better purchase for you than the AWP. If you miss that first shot, you've always got the chance to fire in another 7 or 8 potentially. I'm sure if you miss 7 or 8 shots, they won't let you live long enough to get any more off, but you never know, you might catch someone on a bad day. A couple of VeryGames players tagged down to half HP, but they do have the numbers advantage. Forest going down very early doors in this one. And Get Right is taken down. He had a nice little angle there. He could have had 2 or 3 with that auto sniper potentially, but misses the opportunity. 5v3 in favour of VeryGames. Can they halt this early momentum? Can they take the 20th round of Can Strike? MBK's going to try and step things up again here if he can, and he's got 2 frags on the way down. All down to Fifth Laren, who gets 1. He's got 2 players on very low HP, MBK on 13 and Scream on 1, so there is a chance of a clutch, but doesn't happen. MBK in there with a 3-man. And again, he's edging himself to a very respectable number of kills here. Of course, it's great to have a huge game individually, but if your team don't come away with a victory, then that is just not enough. And whether you need them to step up, that's pretty much all you can say. If you're dropping a 20-30 bomb, then you really do need a bit of extra frag support from your buddies. NIP largely forced down to a pistol buy. A couple of them have gone for P250s as Forrest managed to get himself an AWP, but he doesn't make it pay because MBK goes and rips his face off with the AK. Gonna see an upper push as Smith takes down... manages to grab one. I thought it was an upper push, and that flash certainly will have suggested that, but instead VeryGames are working on the outside, and Kenny S tries to go up top, and he's greeted by the pistol of Exist, who's got 2. Of Grabs himself an AWP as well. Decides very quickly against that, and I think he wants to go for this. Changing his mind. It just looked like when he dropped that AWP and grabbed the AK and started heading towards the ladder. He had a rush of blood to the head and thought he could have taken it. Existence goes round on the hunt and does manage to grab Exist in the end. So he just popped up back steps. Or front steps now, I suppose we're going to have to call them. MBK opening pick, taking down Get Right. VeryGames looking to take themselves to 1 round away from the draw here. Flash hammers into upper, but nothing more than that so far. Bit of spam through the squeaky door. MBK grabs himself a second. Still fairly slow build-up from VeryGames. They have to get a shift on with 35 seconds left to go on the clock, and Smith goes down. So that two-man advantage is gone. It's now 2v2. That didn't take long. Frobo's got another one there. And straight away, VeryGames to find themselves up against it and losing that round. I guess that's the difference between these two teams. VeryGames looking to set things up nicely. MBK comes in with a couple of frags, numbers in their favour, and then when they go and finally push the site, seems a little too hesitant in getting in there, and they just gave the opportunity for Freiburg to pop in and grab a couple. And you could say great retake from NIP, but considering you're dealing with some of the and VeryGames, some of the strongest players in Europe still, and a team good enough to get themselves to the upper bracket final in the ESEA Season 13 Grand Finals. Coming out on top against a good number of the top American teams as well, which I mentioned. You'd expect a little bit better from them. I would have liked to have seen them close that out. Still a chance though. They still have a 4-round advantage. Still got a little bit of cash to play with as well if they don't manage to take this one. Existence again, opening VeryGames account here. But they have to make this translate into a round. All the entry picks are all for nothing. Gonna try and make a work onto lower this time. Got 2 players on the drop already. Scream gets 1, but he's cut down really quickly by Freiburg. Numbers still favour VeryGames. They don't anymore. They don't anymore because Forrest is in there with 2. Fiffler in there with 1 as well. And it's now down to Smiths. 1v3. Trying to make it happen from the vents, and he's cut down. Trying to control the burst, but Fiffler was just a little bit better at that one. Managed to find a crisp headshot through the vent. And that is going to be another round on the board for NIP, closing that gap all the time. Maybe VeryGames need to start shifting this up. Maybe they need to go for a fast, aggressive strat like worked out for NIP when they were struggling to find rounds. Smith's trying to spam through the smoke and make something happen in ramp. He doesn't tag a thing. Exist launches a smoke, puts himself in at the top of hut. Not a bad spot there. You do have a chance to get a couple before they can even turn around and figure out where you are, potentially. And also it might buy you a second if good flashes come in. And a good flash did come in. It did blind the upper sight, and that's happened more than once. But VeryGames, for whatever reason, choosing not to hit on those... choose not to hit and make use of those flashes. And Smiths is taken down in the end by GetRight, who was tagged down to 21 HP. And GetRight's got himself a second. Exist looked like he was going to be caught napping there as MBK stepped in through main, but still managed to flick round, and he's got himself another one there, grabbing Scream, and the second he pops out a nest. Kenny S trying to make something happen, but he's cleaned up in the end. 13-11. And for VeryGames, if they've got this close and then they go and throw it away, that's got to be heartbreaking for them. And I would not want to be in their camp if that happens and they find themselves going into this second map, which is Mirage. GetRight once again coming out on top, and he manages to grab Smith for the second time in a row. Fifth Lauren managing to cut down MBK, and Exist has already got himself a couple from in there, doing a really nice job of locking down Hut. Just switching up his position, and he's not afraid to get in there and get aggressive on the angles either. Very impressive work. And Forrest mops up. VeryGames going on a full spend, and they do have about £1 grand's worth of cash left over, but they're going to want to not have to worry about this. They want this next round, because if they lose it, Ninjas in Pyjamas have pulled themselves even. And then they'll find themselves doing a really nice job of locking down this still easier CT side. GetRight, and he's just getting aggressive, spamming through the smoke with the spray, and he manages to catch MBK with that. Oh, some have said that you can't spray on CSGO. Yes, you can, and that's a 1.6 player that's gone and busted that out as well. That's not a skill he will be used to making, I would not expect. But it doesn't matter, they all count. And with 50 seconds left to go, you wouldn't put it past NIP to hold out here. Freiburg taking down a half HP there. So that might help if we see a big upper push. 30 seconds left on the clock. There's got to be something big brewing here for VeryGames. Where's it going to come in? Well, Smith is taken down, and Existence goes down as well. So that's Freiburg and Forrest picking up a frag apiece. Both of them down to half HP, but that's all. Kenny S trying to get one, and he gets GetRight. Kenny S trying to escape as best he can, but he's caught by Exist. And that brings it to 13 all. Not sure VeryGames going to do this. They've got enough to spend, but they need to win this one. If they don't, they're going to find themselves either on a scrub buy or on a pistol. One round away from only being able to get themselves a draw. And once again, despite taking it close, we could see them falling. When it comes to taking on NIP, that's going to help though. That's going to help the VeryGames situation as they get themselves an opening pick. But it's very quickly cancelled out as Get Right manages to cut down the huge player that was MBK in the first half. He's been kept relatively quiet here on the T side. Minute left to go on the clock. And once again, things are slow, things are passive, but Smith comes out. Nice work in the Rampare as he took on Fifth Laren. Didn't get tempted to spray, just checked his aim, fired off a couple of bursts, came out on top. Kenny S, nice work, but let's get right with the spray again. And he manages to grab Kenny S and Existence as they both step through. Forrest mops up, getting Scream. And exactly what VeryGames did not want to happen has. They still have the cash to go and stretch a buy together. Won't be able to get an AWP up with that kind of dollar. But they've got bigger things to worry about than getting an AWP if they drop this one. Draw is the best they can manage. And if that's the case, despite getting themselves 3 rounds away from defeating their greatest nemesis. Two more rounds of lockdown from the Swedes would mean that they are going and taking a 1-0 advantage in the ESEA upper bracket as they go on to play Mirage. Exist went for a teasing little push on the angle. Decided against it. Managed to take off about 20 hit points when he went for it, I think. VeryGames deciding they want to work ramp. Couple of players in on the rotate though. Not sure that'll be needed because Fifth Laren's already got one. That's Smith's going down. Nice work though. They're going to be pushing into upper and that caught Exist completely off guard. Freiburg goes down as well. Get Right does mop up Scream in the end. Get Right with a bit of work to do up in Nest. But he's already got a second. Make that a third as he steps out. Nice work. And that is going to be the draw guaranteed. Again, VeryGames get themselves in the site. Get the plant. Have the one-man numerical advantage, but they cannot hold it out. And they're going to be looking back to moments like that when they could have just picked up those extra couple of rounds that they need, and they are going to be kicking themselves. Lost a lot of rounds on the spin. So it's CSGO economy. The team that's getting spanked gets a little bit of help, so they are going to be able to go on a full buy again. Pretty much a full complement of nades and flashes. Smith has decided he's going to leave one of his flashes at home though. Patient build up once again. Seems like both these teams have forgotten that the aggressive fast push has worked out fairly well, or at least it did for NIP. VeryGames have got themselves into the best chances possible to capture rounds. They got themselves in numbers in their favour and a bomb plant, but they haven't managed to lock it down. Although, to be honest, it's been their best chance of even getting into the site when they haven't really managed to do it with their splits and picks. So I don't know why they don't keep pushing for it. MBK gets one, Existence gets one. Are they going to try and make this interesting? So they're going to have a good go. Forest comes in behind, but MBK ends up getting the kill on Forest and the team kill while he's at it. And this is tense. This is tense. Because we see overtime. Are NIP going to lock this one down and take it to 16-14? Can't wait to find out. This could be it. Is it the final round of Nuke and map 2? Have we still got a little bit of drama left to go? MBK taken down to 33 HP. VeryGames going to work another delayed upper split. Worked well from last time. Nice and fast and crisp. MBK got a bit of action. And the two European teams trade frags in the lower area. Fifth Laren drops from his spot on ramp. So VeryGames, as they work in, they are going to have free reign of the ramp room for a little bit. But on board with an interesting little rotate behind from Exist. And he does get in and manage to grab one player. That's Smith's in there. Get right, catches Existence in the vents. All down the screen. Is it map over, or can he take it into overtime? Not enough time to get a plant down, really. He's going to have to just go for it. Two men are going to be hunting him. Get right pushes in. Grabs that final kill. And we do go to the second map with NIP taking a 1-0 lead. We've been watching the upper bracket final from the ESEA Season 13 LAN. This has been Crossy bringing you all the action. Thanks for checking it out with me. The second map and possibly the third will be coming shortly. So keep your eyes on Twitch TV and on the YouTube channel. And that game will be available for you very soon. Thank you very much.